What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Observant Lineman. Now, I get asked a lot by people who knew that I played football or people who were wondering if I ever played football. A lot of times I get asked, what's it like to play in the NFL? What was it like to play at the pantheon of football achievement, at the absolute top level of football as a profession in the world? And I tell people, I can really only describe it when I talk about the moment that I knew that all of this was real, that all of this NFL madness was real. And basically, I'm going to try to make this story short. Probably not going to happen, but I'm going to try and make it short. So I consider this the welcome to the NFL moment. What was my welcome to the NFL moment? I would have to say, beyond any doubt, that my welcome to the NFL moment was in the season opener, my second season in the NFL, 2008-2009 season. Now, this was a season that, we were actually predicted to do pretty damn well. I believe ESPN actually picked us to win the Super Bowl that year. That was after we went to the playoffs in my rookie year. We beat the Pittsburgh Steelers in Pittsburgh, and then we lost to New England in New England. But yeah, this was the opening game, 2008-2009. We're opening up against the Tennessee Titans in Tennessee. And, this year it's all about their defense. That defense is that vaunted Titan defense with the headliner, Albert Haynesworth, playing defensive tackle. Now, for those of you who do know Albert Haynesworth, I don't think much else needs to be said. But for those of you who don't know Albert Haynesworth at one point in his career was the most dominant defensive tackle in the NFL. Yeah. He was the most dominant defensive tackle in the NFL at one point. And, it may have been only for a few years, but this guy's presence was always a factor against whatever. It didn't matter who he played against. He was a factor on defense that had to be accounted for. So we're going into this first regular season game, and we're in warm-ups. And while we're in warm-ups, while we're doing our pregame warm-up, our offensive guard at the time, right guard, Mo Williams tears his tricep muscle in the pregame warm-up. Now, I didn't know this until I was in the locker room after the pregame warm-ups. And, this is the second-year player and myself who is not necessarily ready to play in this game. But if I have to, obviously, I'm going to do it. Didn't study my notes particularly well that week because I knew I wasn't going to be starting. But I ended up having our offensive line coach, Andy Heck, walk up to me in the locker. He said, "Ooch, you're up. Motor's tricep. Ready to play?" And I just looked up like, excuse me? Motor's tricep? Yeah, Mo's torn tricep. You're up. Next man up, right? Ready to go? Let's go. Ready to go, right? I'm like, what are we running this week? Like, that's where I was in my head. I was like, yeah, I'm ready to play, coach. Let's go. Put me in. I'm ready. And in the back of my head, I'm just thinking to myself, I didn't study shit this week. How am I going to get through this game? But that wasn't the welcome to the NFL moment. The welcome to the NFL moment occurred to me later on in that game. Now, just to lead up to it, around the second quarter, this Titan squad had Javon Kearse at defensive end on the right side. Albert Haynesworth was defensive tackle on the left side, so I didn't have to really deal with him at that point in the game. But I believe it was second quarter. The defensive end and the defensive tackle run some type of wacky game. This is my first time in real action, real regular season action on the field with starters. I didn't know what the hell they were running. I didn't know what the hell I was looking at. I had no idea what I was doing out on the field. And, I saw the game coming, the stunt between the defensive tackle and the defensive end. And I was able to cut off the defensive tackle from penetrating into the offensive tackle's, the right tackle's hip. So I flattened him out, send him over. My tackle does a really good job. This was Tony Pachos. He does a really good job at, taking that defensive tackle that I flattened out and basically reversing his course right back towards me while I'm trying to block an incoming Javon Kearse. Now, at the point when we all make contact, I don't know if it's a helmet, I don't know if it's another leg, but something just smashes dead square into my knee. And I just collapsed like a sack of potatoes. Boom, hit the ground, laying there, thinking my career is already over. What a brief stint as a starter. Already blew something out. It's over with. How am I going to recover from this? They'll never trust me again. Ended up spraining my MCL, bruising a bone, and basically sprained my knee, and was on the sideline. Halftime comes, I go into the locker room. Team doctor comes walking around the corner. He's like, "Hey, Ooch, what's up?" I'm like, "Hey, what's going on, Doc?" He's like, "Yeah, so with this knee, we're going to put a sleeve on it, right? And we're going to need to get you back out there for the second half because all we got left are tight ends." I'm just like, he said, "Here, take this pill. You'll be all right. Put the sleeve on, ready to go." I'm like, all right. I guess that's what it is. I don't know that I have much of a choice in the matter. So, I go out early before we get done with halftime. Try and loosen that knee up because by this point it's stiffened up so bad it was starting to swell. Had a sleeve on it, So I'm riding on the bike, trying to warm myself up. And, I go back, they're like, coaches are coming over saying, "Hey, you got this, you got this." I'm like, do I though? Do I? So basically what ends up playing out is we go out there for the first drive and our left guard, Vince Manuwai, rest in peace, Vinny, love you. Vince Manuwai, he goes down on the fourth or fifth play of that drive. Turns out he tore his ACL, so he was out of the game. So now we have one offensive lineman left, Tutan Reyes, my guy Tutan. Tutan's from New York. He's from Queens or Jamaica, Queens. He's got a little slick little accent, little New York accent, really cool. I'm standing in the huddle, and my knee is throbbing. By the way, it's throbbing. Standing in the huddle. And here comes Tutan jogging into the huddle after they got Vinny off the field. He comes jogging into the huddle, and he points at me, and he taped up his fingers. So these fingers will be taped together, and these fingers will be taped together. And he just did like this. "Ooch, move over." And I'm like, whoa, what do you mean, move over? He said, "Hey, don't shoot me. I'm just a messenger." And I look over. I have to move over to left guard, where Albert Haynesworth is waiting. 6'7", 350-pound, bipolar Albert Haynesworth. So I'm in the huddle. And it's like, everybody in the huddle's looking at me like, "Hey, that's the guy who's going to take the fall for this game. That's the guy who who is going to be sitting and be set up to block a guy who's in a contract year as a defensive tackle, looking to make a $100 million contract plus the next year when he goes to the Washington Redskins. But he has to prove that he's worth every dime of that right here, right now. This guy has the look in his eyes of a starving polar bear, a starving black bear. I mean, I get in my stance, and I mean, it's hard to get in my stance because my knee is throbbing. It's on fire. I get in my stance. I look up. He's not even lined up over me. He says, these guys are passing the ball. I know they're passing. I'm going to line up on the left tackle and rush the left guard. And when he did that, our left tackle, Khalif Barnes, looks at me and says, "Ooch, ooch, ooch," in a panicked voice. "Ooch, is this you? Is he coming to you?" I'm like, "Yeah, he's coming to me." He's like, "Oh, okay, cool." Ball gets hiked. You got two guys rushing from about 5 yards out. One of them being Albert Hainsworth. And this guy just comes into me like a freaking mountain. And I'm just like the little hobbit on Lord of the Rings trying to hold that mountain back, that evil mountain, that evil force. And I mean, there's a picture of it. I don't know if it's online anymore, but I mean, I've got my arms up in the air like this while he's rushing, and I'm just like leaning back, like I'm about to start just backstroking it. And that was about a quarter and a half of hell, of misery that I went through trying to block Albert Hainsworth. It was a truly terrifying moment in my career. Now, I will say that later on in the season, I did pancake him 2 times on Thursday Night Football. But that was my welcome to the NFL moment, because at that point, I realized I'm not even going up against a guy. I'm going up against probably the top player at his position in all of the NFL that season, Albert Hainsworth. We watched film on the guy. He's palming guys' faces like basketballs and throwing them back into the quarterback while he's dropping back into his drop. I mean, it was crazy. So when all this happened, I was definitely a nervous wreck the entire rest of the game. I didn't even know what the score was when it ended. We didn't win, but I didn't know what the score was. I didn't even know that the game was over when it was over, because it was just me and him in the trenches. And I was just like, we got another play. Oh my God, let's keep it together. And then there were a couple other plays he threw me around on the field, and you could see that it was a young pup taking on a grizzled veteran. And, it played out as such. So it was a great learning experience for me as a player. It was a great opportunity to get out on the field and actually get thrown to the sharks and try to swim. And, that game was the introduction. But from that moment forward, I just got a little bit better each game, a little bit better. And I'd have my chance at revenge later on that season on Thursday Night Football, which I would take full advantage of. So that was my welcome to the NFL moment. Let me know what you think. Leave some comments in the comment section. What would you like to hear me talk about? What would you like to hear me get into? As a former player, as somebody who can give you a little bit of a different perspective, I would love to know from the people who watch my videos, from my audience, from my fans, what do you want to see next on the channel? I'd love to get a structured direction that I want to go with this channel, but I just feel like, whatever's a good story that I feel like talking about, that's just whatever I go with. And I wanted to go with something out of my own experience for this video. Thought it'd be a fun thing to do with you guys. So if you guys enjoy this, please leave comments down below. Let me know. Hit the like button. Hit the like button on the Observant. Hit the like button. Subscribe to the Observant Lineman. I'm your Observant Lineman, Uche Waneri. Appreciate you guys, and I will catch you on the next video. Peace.